Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. How is everyone doing this morning? Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Sterling. Did you stock up on all your food? You all ready for the storm? Good morning, Patrick. How is everything up in Minnesota? Is it nice and cold up there? Hey, good morning, Stafford. How are you, buddy? Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Jake. Please remind me, Royal Palms. GE, thank you for putting in the earnings. GE Aerospace did beat. Stock is down. It's been on quite a run. Good morning, Yogi. Procter Gamble, I noticed that they missed also on revenue, but yet the stock is up. There's still a massive weekly double bottom on there for anybody who cares to look at it. FCX, Freeport McMoran, beat. Stock's flat. Good morning, Jacob. Abbott Labs, that was a miss also in revenue, down 7.65%. Good morning, Balaji. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, Taco Traders. What's Taco Thursday? Well, it was really Taco Wednesday, but we can call it Taco Thursday. McCormick Spice Company beat on revenue, miss on EPS, stock down 6.2%. Good morning, Anissa. Grand Rising Christoph. Good morning, Zello. Good morning, people in the background. All right. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Good morning, Eric. All right, what do we have? We had the GDP numbers back from Q3 come out, coming in at 4.4 versus consensus 4.3. These are the final numbers. Let's see what Sterling said. I continue to observe that the entire weather forecasting industry is now clickbait garbage for ad revenue. In 4 days, we've forgone. We've gone from a foot of snow to possibly an inch. That's hey, that's could be off by a factor of 12. But in this day and age, what does it matter? We'll see. Uh 4 degrees daily snow, expected low of minus 19. Will you stay warm, Patrick? What's going to be your high? I know Chicago's only going to have like a high of minus 3 tomorrow. What's going to be your high tomorrow, Patrick? Good morning, Ted. How are you? All right, Stafford, you stay warm too. I know you're in the Chicago area. You smell McCormick every morning in Baltimore County. Where is it in there? I do not recall that. All right. I'm not doubting you, but when I lived over in that area, I do not recall the McCormick Spice Company. Huh. Maybe I blanked it out. All right, we had GDP coming in better than expected. The final numbers for the Q3 GDP. We still have the PCE, backwards looking PCE from October, November. I doubt they'll have much effect on the market. It's probably just going to shrug it off. We already have the pause baked in for next week, so I doubt that's going to happen. Again, you had the Trump taco about Greenland or Iceland slash Greenland, as referred to yesterday. Uh, so we'll see. Who knows? It's all, what something could change today. Something could change today. We shall see. But that's about all this morning. Then we have the Kansas City Fed and Composite and Manufacturing Index. We have the EIA numbers. Remember, they were paused since we had Martin Luther King Day on Monday for the crude traders. EIA numbers. But that's about it. That is about it. We have the Mad Rush. We have financials. We have Mag 7 and rush into Mag 7 and AI related stuff. Intel reports earnings after the close. It's pulled back. There's your GE Aerospace. There's your Abbott Labs. Oil pulling back a little today. Groups. Quick little refresh here. Comms, services, technology, consumer cyclical. So, as the mainstream media would put it, definitely a risk on day. Only thing that's lagging is energy and healthcare. Good morning, OD Green. Jake's got a high of -8 tomorrow in Wisconsin for work. Yay for you, Jake. -8 for the high. Hunt Valley headquarters. I'm going to have to look that up to where it was. Tomorrow's high forecast is -9. -21. You know what? I'm going to be suffering, though. They're calling it for they have these, I forget the term now. It's a weather day. It's an Arizona weather day thing. We have one for Friday and Saturday because, as they put it, I was watching the early morning news. I just put it on to have something in the background. But we're gonna drop from 76 to down to 66 and get some rain. So it's a red letter. It's a red letter alert day or whatever they call it. We're gonna only be a high of 66 with rain on Saturday. So we're suffering here. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to leave the house. I don't think I'm going to leave the house. I mean, we're not anywhere but -21 below zero, but come on. That's a drop of 10 degrees here with rain. We're going to melt or something or wash away or good morning, Tony. I hope you're being sarcastic, Jacob. I hope that's sarcasm. It's right up there with the Gettysburg Address. Oh boy. I hope that's sarcasm. That was a very interesting speech. I'll just leave it at that. So, fear and greed, neutral mode. I'm surprised we didn't drop to extreme fear and go back to extreme greed with this. But we're only in fear mode with the bounce back. We're not far off all-time highs when we're in fear mode. Let's see. Put and call options, extreme fear, no. Safe haven demand, extreme fear, no. I will admit we're in extreme greed with junk bonds. 40.42 back above there. All right, let's get to, by the way, Intel's the big one after the close, which is insanely overbought. So who knows? It's become a meme stock in itself. We have Alcoa also, CSX. Those are the three main ones I'm looking at. Peak in at Capital One. And tomorrow, we don't have much before the open. Nothing after close, but tomorrow, there isn't really anything. So I don't have to worry about that tomorrow. Yeah, leave it as sarcasm. All right. Trump's whacked. Now he's just bragging. I'm not bragging. I got to deal with the rain on Saturday. I don't know what I'm going to do. But you guys can all pick on me when it's 115 in July. You can all pick on me. So no, I'm just so I cannot deal with the cold anymore. It's too challenging on my body. So what do we have today? What do we have? We had the double play out yesterday rather nicely and then pulled back and then continued higher on the announcement of the Greenland framework. Today, going to be watching where we close in relation to 69.53 is the level to tip the harmonics probabilities higher. The targets I'm looking at, they're virtually the same. We have a gap fill, a significant level, and a harmonic all between 69.76.75 to 69.80. So that's my first target if the rally continues. And then my next target, if it continues for the next few days, is we have a lot of harmonics and significant levels between 7,007 and 7,010. For pullbacks, I'm keeping an eye on a minor level of 69.42 and a more significant level at 69.21, 69.20 area with the 4-hour rotation zone. So that's what I'm looking at. If we blew through there, something else happened, I'm looking at 68.87 area. And then if we really got momentum, we're looking at about 68.63 and then major support down around 68.45. It's going to be 19. Well, you're compared to a lot of the country, Ted, that's 19 degrees is way better than like Patrick at like, oh boy, -9, -21 is the low. Yeah. So, all right. So that's key thing. I'm really going to be watching this 4 hour rotation zone on any pullback, though. And into the open, I'm focused on 69.42. NASDAQ. The NASDAQ barely missed triggering the percent beat buy yesterday. Falling through, gap up today. Key thing, 62.5 is 25, 662.75. So on any pullback, that's the key level to watch. The first key level to watch on a closing basis. The levels higher, we have a major cluster at this 25,775 area, and then back to 25,918 is the next key area. On support, the support area I'm watching is about 25,500 to 25,550 on the NASDAQ. If we break down below about 25,660, that's the key support level I'm looking at. And I'll be looking at the 4 hour rotation zone. Below that, we have the next level is about 25,465, and then you're all the way back down to about 25,320. Massive support is down at 25,150. The Dow, which already yesterday closed above the 62.5. So I'm looking for continued, again, we can still pull back intraday, but looking for 49,550 area, which also is a gap left behind. The gap is to 49,547 and then 49,724. Just pay attention to 4 hour rotation zone, please. That's the key thing on any more moderate pullback. 49,300. That's what I'm looking at because this is going to keep rising. 49 about 270, 49,300 on the Dow there. And just watch for this gap fill if you're trading the Dow. The Russell breaking the new highs. What's the next key levels up? There's not much. I mean, we got a major harmonic. I could put on the more intermediate harmonics right here. The next intermediate level we're trading against, you can see here, let me zoom in. We're trading up right against this 2732 area. So that's a key level I'd be looking at intraday today. If it pops above there, I'd be looking at 2750 and 2758. Key support on here, I'm paying closer attention to the 1 hour rotation zone on the Russell. You do have a little mini double top. If that were to trigger, I'd just be looking at pullback into the 4 hour rotation zone. Would not be shorting that unless we had massive momentum. So the top, though, the rotation zone is about 2725. The key support 2721 and major support down at about 2715. What else? Looking at Chicago's weather, I remember why I left. I am not going back. Oh boy. So, what else we have? I thought dust. Well, no, they have to have literally. Sterling said it's all clickbait. I mean, we have to have a weather alert day for friggin' rain and a 10-degree temperature drop. All right, you want to talk about clickbait? Holy, you misspelled thought as T hot. I thought oh, it got held for a review. Precious metal hangs on his every word. Has the SEC investigated Trump pattern investment patterns? We already know the Trump investment patterns. When looking at pullback on the 4 hour chart, for example, can we draw harmonics on the actual bar? Yes, you can. Yes, you can, as long as it's a longer bar. Now, when I'm looking, let's go back to something here. That's a good question. When I'm looking, let's do the 4 hour harmonics. If I'm doing this up move, you can do it on the bar, but more aggressively on the 4 hour. See how we have the 25% harmonic if we were coming back there. And now if you're looking at the 1 hour to do more aggressive, which you can on the S&P, it's still hugging it. If we drop below the 8 EMA, I'd be focused on this 12.5% harmonic and look at how all this lines up. You have the little 12.5% harmonic, which even if we bump up in the open, it'll just raise it closer to significant level in between the 1 hour rotation zone. If you have a really wide bar, you can use the harmonics on that really wide bar. Do not use it on a narrow bar. Just go to a more anchor. And then you can do harmonic clusters. Like you could come in here too on the last little low and look for like the cluster. So right around here, you have a cluster based off of stacking harmonics. That's your better way to do it unless you have a long bar and you can use harmonics. Your VIX, there was your double. Pretty much finished yesterday. See, it's sell volatility again and buy it all. Sell vol, buy it all. Look how quickly. We had the little vol panic. That, by the way, that's why if you're hedging with volatility, when you get an initial spike like this, take something off the table because it might not last long. And then you hang on to something for the bigger spike if it happens. The DAX, come on, DAX. Watch in case it does recover and trigger a percent B buy today. But also remember the DAX coming back. It's testing a very key support. I'm still looking for bounce plays unless we get below the weekly rotation zone, which also means this breakout level failed. DAX also is getting very tired on a longer term basis. Here is your monthly chart, still very overbought with divergences. So I'm looking for bounce plays only, but this is getting tired. The yields, interesting enough, yeah, little drop yesterday after the framework announcement. Oh, we're not going to do tariffs on Europe. February 1st, but still, look at this hanging in there. So I'm going to say it's about 4.2. I'm still looking. Now, we have hit the second target, so we do raise a stop on the yields if you're trading the micro yields. 30-year, little bigger drop in that after hitting the second target, but nothing's invalidated the pattern there. Crude. Still managing to close above the $60 mark. Going to be paying attention to the $60 mark with the EIA numbers. If we drop back below that, we're still holding the rotation zone. If we drop below the rotation zone and the 50 EMA at 59, I'm not interested in any short-term longs in crude. And this is scalpy only. There's no great longer-term pattern setups. Natty gas, we finished. We closed about the 62.5, ticked off the 75 yesterday, ticked off the 87.5 today. On the mad rush. The mad momentum rush. On the bigger picture, we are, remember, just above that. Even if it goes higher, 577 is very key. It's a 50% retracement from the highs back in 22 to the lows of 24. So that's, if it does continue, that's about it. But this is up against in a major resistance area. So would not be chasing it long at this point from my perspective. Gold pulled back on the framework deal yesterday, keeping an eye on this 4-hour rotation zone. See if it possibly makes a double top. The trend is still up. Do not short. The trend is still up. We'll only start watching for the bigger pullback if we break below the lows from yesterday. The next harmonic is 49.45. Trend is still up. Do not short. Do not short dark screen. Don't worry about, you're not going to capture every move, so don't go against the trend. Silver also, this is a little running out of momentum. I had the minor harmonics up here. That's where it topped out. That's where it topped out yesterday, and this is starting to look tired with a rollover pattern. Not saying it can't make another spike higher. 96.45 and then 100 are the key levels if it spikes up higher. it's already starting to lose the 4 hour rotation zone. Now the daily rotation zone's back at about 90, so that's the key level I'm looking for any pullback. What else? Let's just get through some other stuff. Dollar index. Dollar. Come on, dollar index. There we go. Not much to talk about yet unless we get below this 98 level. And we had the little bounce back yesterday. Watching, first of all, for key support right around 98.20. If we did drop below that, looking at 98, because we dropped below 98, that invalidates the rest of the double bottom pattern. Euro technically closed above the 62.5, hitting off the 75. If we do break above this about 117.20 area, I'm looking for a return to that 75% harmonic, 117.50, and then possibly 117.80. The yields are taking a little breather in Japan. Little breather. But still going to be looking for these to continue to rotate back up after the pullback here. Yen rotating back up tomorrow. Yen weakness, but it's found that major resistance at the 87.5. Let's get through the spiders. We're gapping up today. Yesterday ticked off right to the 62.5. So on any pullback, I'm looking at 688.77. And then 686.33, and then the gap fill on any weakness. I am watching, though. We don't have the first cross of 1 hour rotation zone, so I am keeping close attention to that. If we get that, so I'm looking 688, that 77 and 688.33, because I don't have any rotation zone support first. We have a gap left behind on any rally just beyond the 75% harmonic. So first target is 691.21 for me, and then 691.66 for the gap fill. That's not necessarily for today. The Qs gapping up above the 62.5, so that's going to be support for me, which should also have a key close of 621.26 and 621.39. Those are my support areas. We continue higher, 623.82 to 624.26, and then 627.13. If we did drop below this close of 621.26, I'm watching for support around yesterday's highs. Where is it? 620.42. The IWM. 269.88. We're opening up around 269.75. Through that, 272.55. On any rollover, you have yesterday's high, 268.59, and then the gap fill to the close, 267.69. What's interesting is look at how weak the bounce back has been in the good old Bitcoin. Good old Bitcoin, which couldn't hold any support, and now the support has been, the other level of support has been retested as resistance. So unless we get a stronger bottoming pattern, I'm not interested in anything. And if it breaks below 84,700 area, we could see some serious breakdown in that. All right. Well, what else? Well, give me another example, like maybe tomorrow. We can go through that some more. I didn't see that dark stream. There you are. Elon Musk says he's in contact with aliens. Can silver go to 700? Oh, God. Not likely. Short Apple. What? Hey, Darks. What did you want me to look at? Then we'll jump to Apple. Yes, Apple hit all the targets on the Head and Shoulders. Thank you for bringing that up. It hit them yesterday. So I'm still, again, the targets are done on Apple Head and Shoulders. Now I will look for bounce plays and bounces potentially back to the rotation zone and look for more short setups. My overall target is back to 200. Simple. Initially. Short Microsoft. What was it other? Microsoft, remember, Microsoft still has a double playing out, the weekly double top. It's now hit the first and second targets. Same thing for me with Microsoft, looking for bounces in the rotation zone to continue shorts. All right. Also, the daily 200, which look at it was support, has now turned into resistance. You got a lot of overhead resistance. For me to get interested in Microsoft, we either have to have a bounce long play, which would be a bounce only. For me to do anything more sustained, it's either got to pull back a lot more, it's not a cheap stock, or it's got to get bounce and get back up above about 490. There we go. USAR. Thank you. USAR. Well, you got the break above, got the first close above key resistance with a double bottom. You have a double bottom pattern. I don't know if I got the exact high there. It's close enough. Which one's higher? Yeah, they're the same. All right. So you have the double bottom pattern. Targets 2267, 2449, 2632. The double is invalidated if you close below 1429 or trade below 1334. I'd be watching this daily rotation zone. There you go. USA Rare Earths triggered a double. Actually triggered it back on Tuesday. Little pause yesterday. And now there you go. There's your targets for USAR. If it continues beyond the double, I'd be targeting the 2772 level for the next key target above 2632. Can you check LSTA? Mista Therapeutics. Well, trading against major resistance on this big gap up. I guess they had news come out. Oh, there's a buyout offer. Okay. There's a buyout offer. So again, this is, when there's a buyout, you have to know the offer terms of where it could potentially buy out, because this thing could stall out at whatever. If it's let's say they're going to buy it at $4. You don't want to count. You got to look into the buyout offer and see. Also, you got to look at the viability of the buyout offer to see, because again, if you're trying to chase this now, it could collapse back down if that buyout fails. But don't just say, oh, I can't say we're going to go back to all-time highs, because the buyout could be for $4. I don't know what it is. I don't have time to look at it. All right, so you got to look at that dark screen. You can't just go, oh, this is, because once there's a buy, that's why I check the news real quick. So look at the details of the buyout offer. Let's take a look at the S&P into the open. Looks like it's breaking higher again on a continued up move. Pay attention on any pullbacks. Watch that 1 hour rotation zone. And on a continued rally, you have that price magnet I went over. That doesn't mean it has to get there today, but that's where we sit. Got out a short on Netflix yesterday. Buy yet? Netflix bounced off of very key support. You do have a potential percent B buy for, and I'd only do this for a gap fill. That's about as bullish as I am on Netflix right now. There's no longer term bottoming pattern. Yes, it is very oversold. You can look for a weekly percent B buy if that were to trigger against this very key support. But for a long term, it's nothing yet. You got still too much. We could definitely bounce in Netflix, but you have a real key stop level because if this thing breaks below 82, we could easily see the weekly 200. So, yes, you can look for bounce plays. What would be more preferential to me would be a bounce and then a stronger bottoming pattern against this key support. Yes, you could do gap harmonics. I covered that a lot a few years ago. So there's your answers. You can watch for Netflix for some bounce patterns as long as it holds this support, but don't get greedy with it. Do not get greedy. Now is not the time to get greedy on some of these. Okay, let's just see what Tesla's. I haven't looked at Tesla in a while. Tesla might be setting up for something for another bounce play. Tesla's. I don't think their earnings are going to be very good. What is their estimate? 45 down. We'll see. Down from. We'll see. But this is not justifying the valuations at all. I'd be real careful on Tesla if you get bounce plays, they're for short-term trades only. You're welcome, Holy Holy. With that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Tomorrow is Friday. Remember, stuff in Davos is still going on, so there could be things coming out from over there. So you still have to be on your toes. The PCE numbers, backwards looking PCE numbers coming out in about 24 minutes. So I'm just going to be watching that in case we do get a 10 a.m. Eastern reversal. With that, I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.